Discover how a 9-language girl shocked a millionaire with her incredible journey of inspiration. In the vibrant heart of a bustling urban neighborhood, 10-year-old Sofia stood out like a spark in the dark. Her laughter danced like music, inviting friends from all backgrounds to join her in playing on the gritty sidewalk. Graceful in her own spirited way, she was the bright star to the families around her, each with tales of struggle, resilience, and love. Sofia had a secret gift. She taught herself language after language, mastering 9 in total. She could seamlessly move from Spanish to Chinese and back to English, her heart connecting to every person she spoke with. Each word she learned painted her world with deeper hues of understanding and compassion. As she watched her single mother, a waitress hustling through long shifts in the nearby diner, Sofia felt the weight of her mother's sacrifices. The occasional tears and exhaustion faded in the warmth of their home, filled with stories, laughter, and even the scent of her mother's signature spicy chili. Every night, they shared their dreams, Sofia dreaming of uniting her community through language, and her mother dreaming of a future where life was easier. Everything changed one fateful day when the neighborhood was buzzed with news. Mr. Thompson had his sights set on their community. The air grew thick with tension as whispers crowded the sidewalks. Mr. Thompson was a wealthy entrepreneur, armed with big plans to improve the area. His vision promised flashy stores and glitzy apartments but left families trembling in fear of losing their homes. As town hall meetings were announced, an idea sparked in Sofia's mind. What if she spoke up for her neighbors? What if she became their voice? With her heart pounding, she took the stage at the meeting, her small frame towering with determination. As parents voiced their fears, and children begged for their playgrounds to remain just as they were, Sofia translated their raw emotions into English, letting their stories soar. It was a powerful moment, and for the first time, Mr. Thompson's icy demeanor began to crack. He listened, slowly starting to see the humans behind his plans, real families with dreams, hopes, and fears that could not simply be pushed aside. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With passion swelling in her chest, Sofia confronted Mr. Thompson. You see us as just a project, she implored, her voice a mix of fear and defiance. But we're real people, with dreams and families. Every decision you make impacts us. It was as if the world held its breath, the tension crackled like electricity. Mr. Thompson's eyes softened for a fleeting moment, as if he were seeing the neighborhood through her eyes, her mother's sacrifices, the warmth of neighbors, and the vibrant culture that thrived on that worn street. Sofia felt the weight of their unspoken potential, the warmth of community against the coldness of ambition. What would Mr. Thompson choose? As they locked eyes, an emotional tether formed, hinting at a connection that could redefine everything. The chapter closed, leaving readers hanging on the brink. What choice would he make? And how would the fate of the neighborhood they both called home unfold? Sofia's heart raced as she scanned the room, feeling the breaths of her neighbors mixing with her own. The weight of their hopes and fears was palpable, weaving a tapestry of urgency. Mr. Thompson shifted uncomfortably, his gaze pushing through the crowd, searching for something, perhaps an excuse, a reason to turn away from the truth Sofia laid bare. Please, a voice called out from the back. It was one of the mothers, clutching her little boy's hand. We have nowhere else to go. The plea hung in the air, heavy and taut like a string ready to snap. Everyone could feel it. Mr. Thompson finally took a breath, his lips parting slightly as though he might respond. I understand your concerns, he replied, but his voice sounded hollow. The fierceness of connection made Sofia want to push further. No, Mr. Thompson, she said, stepping forward. It's not about understanding. It's about listening and acting. That moment felt electric. The crowd leaned in closer, eyes locked on her, and Sofia felt a mix of frailty and strength. She never felt more alive, her entire being yearned to radiate the pain and hope of her community. A murmur rippled through the room, uncertainty mixing with grudging respect. This little girl, holding her own against a wealthy man, was a symbol. The room was charged with emotion. "Maybe I can change some of the plans." Mr. Thompson hesitated again, looking at the faces before him as if they were mirrors of his own conscience. His brow furrowed, tension on every feature. Could he be swayed? Had her words touched him at last? Suddenly, Sofia's mind raced, a flurry of ideas and visions cascaded through her thoughts. "What if," she started, speaking slowly as if each word needed to weigh properly before it was spoken, "we worked together? What if we created a space that represented us, a community center, a multilingual cafe? A place where everyone can gather?" Soft whispers spread through the crowd, nods of agreement rippling like waves as they began imagining this new vision. Mr. Thompson's eyes narrowed, calculations running through his mind. He was a businessman first, and the idea of community unity might have seemed like a non-starter to him. But there was something in Sofia's confidence that made him reconsider. "That could work," he said slowly, the gears turning painfully in his mind. "What will it take?" She pressed. "Let us figure it out together." As the meeting drew to a close, a palpable tension remained. Could they bridge the gap between dreams and reality? Could Sofia's tender heart break down the walls around a millionaire's ambition? Sofia stepped down, her heart humming with pride and curiosity. Had she truly made an impact? Or was it just words drifting in the air? With her mother watching intently from the edge of the room, Sofia smiled, feeling buoyed by hope. But as she left the hall, her belly twisted with a new worry. What if Mr. Thompson decided it was too hard, too complicated? What if he chose plans over people? The next morning, Sofia woke to a notification flashing on her mother's phone. News had spread about the meeting, and the community was abuzz with excitement and fears about what might come next. As she viewed the comments flooding in, some hopeful, others skeptical, Sofia couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was only just beginning. She had sparked a flame, igniting a conversation. But what if the embers of change started to die down before she'd even built a fire? Just then, her mother pulled her aside. "Something important came up, Sofia. A surprise visitor wants to meet with you." "Who?" Sofia asked, eyes widening with curiosity and a hint of fear. Was it Mr. Thompson? As they walked towards their small living room, Sofia's heart pounded. What awaited her in this mysterious meeting could change everything. Sofia entered the living room, her breath caught in her throat. The room was modest, filled with sunlight streaming through the window, but it felt different somehow. There was an air of anticipation hanging in the space. "Sit here," her mother said, gesturing to the couch. Sofia obeyed, her heart racing faster with each passing second. Then, the door opened, and in walked a woman in a sharp suit. She had a commanding presence that filled the room instantly. Her eyes, bright and piercing, locked onto Sofia's with an intensity that made her swallow hard. "Hi, Sofia," the woman said, a smile breaking her stern facade. "I'm Ms. Leonard, Mr. Thompson's advisor. He sent me to talk to you." Sofia's mind spun. "Talk to me? About what?" "About the community center idea," Ms. Leonard replied, a hint of curiosity woven through her voice. "Mr. Thompson is intrigued. But he wants to understand more about you and your vision." Hope ignited within Sofia. "Really? So he's willing to listen," Ms. Leonard interrupted gently. "But he has questions. He needs to know what it would take to make this happen and what it means to the community. He believes understanding the heart behind your project will guide him in the right direction." Sofia leaned forward, feeling an empowered fire within her. "I know what it means. It's more than just a building. It's a place where everyone can feel safe. Parents with their children, immigrants finding belonging, all cultures blending together. The sharpness in Ms. Leonard's expression softened. And how do you envision that? How would you bring the community together? Sofia's mind raced, conjuring vivid images of laughter, buildings alive with color, and voices melding in a symphony of languages. Workshops, language classes, art nights. A kitchen where we all share our food, our stories. It wouldn't just be ours, it would bridge gaps, showing everyone that we are united by what makes us different. The woman nodded thoughtfully, her pencil scratching notes on the notepad she had brought. I love that. But how will you convince the others who doubt? Sofia hesitated. She had never thought about how to sway those who were skeptical. I'll show them, she finally said, her voice steady. I'll share my heart. I'll learn to listen to them, too. We all want the same thing. A place to belong. Over the next hour, they discussed the practicalities, the funding, the timeline, the challenges that lay ahead. Each answer Sofia provided sparked inspiration in Ms. Leonard's eyes. But then, as they shifted to budget discussions, worry knotted in Sofia's stomach. What if that's not enough? What if he still sees this as just a project? Ms. Leonard paused, her gaze steady. You need to keep bringing that passion. Show him the humanity behind the numbers. Your community is more than a statistic. Their lives, dreams, hopes. When they wrapped up, Ms. Leonard stood, shaking Sofia's hand firmly. Stay passionate, Sofia. You have a gift. Don't let anyone stifle it. As she walked out, Sofia felt like she had just been handed a torch. If she could inspire even one person to care, she could make a difference, but as she closed the door behind her, doubt crept in. Was she truly ready for what lay ahead? The community had lit a fire in her, but would it be enough? She glanced at her mother, who watched with a mixture of pride and concern. Do you think it can actually happen, Mom? I believe in you, Sofia. And I believe people can change. With renewed determination, Sofia whispered to herself, I must not falter. Not now. What she didn't know was that her journey was about to get even more complicated. An email notification pinged on her phone, a message from someone she hadn't expected to hear from again, and it could change everything. Sofia picked up her phone, her fingers trembling slightly. The notification flashed on the screen. Hey, it's Alex. Can we talk? It's important. A pang of recognition and surprise washed over her. Alex was a childhood friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in ages, but someone who always understood her. With a deep breath, she tapped on the message and began typing. Of course. When? The ping of the reply came quickly. How about now? I'm at the cafe down the street. A rush of emotions flooded her as she glanced at her mother, who nodded encouragingly. Go, her mother said softly. You need to hear this. Just remember what you're fighting for. As she stepped out into the sun-soaked street, the weight of the world felt both heavy and light. She had hope, but the doubts shadowed her. What did Alex want to discuss? The cafe was a cozy spot filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of chatter. It was the same place they used to hang out, where laughter had flowed like the sunlight pouring in through the windows. Seeing Alex at a table in the corner made her heart leap and sink at the same time. He looked different, more mature, perhaps, but still familiar. She walked over, a mix of excitement and anxiety swirling in her stomach. Sofia. He stood up, arms wide, pulling her into a warm hug that wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. Hey, it's been so long. She exclaimed, part of her amazed at how effortlessly they fell back into their rhythm. Yeah, he stepped back, his smile fading a bit. I heard about your plans for the community center. It's impressive. You always had the biggest dreams, didn't you? Thanks, I'm trying, she said shyly, her voice trailing off. What's up? You seemed serious in your message. Alex's expression shifted to one of concern. I wanted to share what I've been going through. Things have changed for me too. After I left town, I got involved with an organization focused on community work. It opened my eyes." He paused, searching her face for understanding. Sofia leaned in, curiosity piqued. "What do you mean?" "I saw how initiatives like what you're doing can fall apart without the right resources. I have some connections now, people who might want to invest in projects like yours. I don't want you to get discouraged." Sofia's heart raced at the implication behind his words. "Seriously? You think they'd help?" He nodded. "But I need you to understand something first. It's not just about money. It's about the people and the real change you want to create. You'll need a solid plan, a way to show them your vision." A swell of hope pushed against the doubt that gripped her heart. Maybe this was the breakthrough she so desperately needed. "I've been working on it," she said breathlessly, "but I'm scared I won't be enough." Alex reached across the table, grasping her hand. "Sofia, you need to believe in yourself. Your passion is what will draw people in. Don't hold back." Her eyes sparkled with tears of gratitude. "I will. I promise." But even as she spoke, the weight of uncertainty still lingered. What if the connections he spoke of didn't turn out to be what she needed? What if they saw her idea as just a dream? As they discussed strategies and plans, Sofia felt the flame within her reigniting. But she couldn't shake that underlying fear of failure. Just when it felt like everything might come together, an unexpected feeling of dread crept back in, and then, as they finished talking, Alex leaned back, his expression suddenly serious. "There's something else, Sofia. The people at the organization, they're expecting a presentation. I need you to show them your heart in a way you never have before. Can you do that?" With those words hanging over her, a wave of determination rose within her, battling against the spread of anxiety. She felt both empowered and terrified. "Okay," she said, her voice firm. "I will make it happen." But in the back of her mind, another thought lingered. Would putting her heart on the line lead to a victory? Or would it break her? Sofia left the cafe, the flicker of hope battling. The shadows closing in. As she walked home, she felt the wind turning cold, and a shiver ran down her spine. What if she lost everything in this journey? But she had come too far to turn back. She just needed to hold on to the flame. Little did Sofia know, that email from Alex was only the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, more daunting than she'd ever imagined. The days passed in a blur. Each morning, Sofia would wake up with a tight knot in her stomach, remembering Alex's words. A presentation? She wasn't just anxious about what she had to share but terrified of what it meant. This was more than a meeting, it was a gamble with her heart on the line. She took to her desk, surrounded by sketches and plans for the community center. Each drawing felt alive with potential, but just as quickly, the doubts would come creeping back. What if her vision wasn't enough? What if they laughed? The dreams she had held so tightly now seemed fragile. Every night, she would stare at her reflection in the mirror, whispering affirmations to herself. "You can do this. You're capable." But the words rang hollow against the fear echoing in her heart. Finally, the day of the presentation arrived. She dressed carefully, opting for a simple but elegant outfit. As she stood in front of the mirror, she gave herself one last encouraging nod. Today was about more than her dreams, it was about the community that needed her. The meeting was held in a bright conference room, overlooking the city skyline. Sofia's stomach churned as she entered, taking in the sight of the panel seated expectantly. A mix of stern faces and eager expressions. Did they know what they were about to hear? Alex was already there, waiting for her. He smiled and gave her a thumbs up, a gesture that warmed her just enough to push past the nervous churning in her gut. "Thank you all for being here today," Sofia began, her voice wavering but growing firmer with each word. She talked about her vision, a safe haven for children, a focal point for community growth. The more she spoke, the more the room seemed to brighten. She felt the energy shift, even their stern faces softened slightly. As she detailed her plans, she could see the spark of interest in their eyes. They asked questions, probing deeper into her ideas, challenging her thoughts. With each response, the fire inside her flared. Sofia loved this, the thrill of sharing her passion, the chance to impress them with her knowledge made her feel alive, but just as she began to feel confident, she noticed one panel member scribbling furiously, eyes narrowed in concentration. This man rarely looked up. Dread pooled in her stomach. What was he thinking? When it was time for questions, he finally spoke. Sofia, this is all very inspiring, but how do you plan to sustain this initiative in the long term? Have you considered potential challenges? Her mind raced. She had practiced a million scenarios, but this one felt different. She paused, heartbeat echoing in her ears. The room seemed to hold its breath. Great question. Sustainability is key, Sofia replied, finding her footing. I've partners lined up and a detailed plan for funding. Plus, I believe that when a community feels connected to something, they will fight to keep it alive. The man's brow furrowed, but she saw a flicker of appreciation pass across his face. Could it be? The meeting wrapped up, and while the panel members shared nods and murmurs among themselves, Sofia felt a mix of hope and anxiety. Had she done enough? Would her vision be enough to resonate? As the panel left, Alex caught up to her, eyes beaming. You did amazing. They loved your passion. I think you really impressed them. Tears stung Sofia's eyes as those words washed over her. Really? Do you think so? She asked, half in disbelief. Alex nodded. You set your heart on that stage. They could feel it. But even amidst the relief, a nagging uncertainty remained. What if it wasn't enough? She had shared everything, but what if they still didn't see her vision? That night, as she lay in bed, Sofia's thoughts raced. Would the panel respond? Would they offer guidance, or would they dismiss her efforts altogether? Just then, her phone pinged. It was a message from Alex. Sofia, I need to talk to you. It's really important. Can we meet tomorrow? Her heart dropped as panic set in. What could he possibly want to discuss now? The next morning felt like an eternity. Sofia paced her apartment, glancing at the clock every few minutes. The question swirling in her mind wouldn't settle. What could Alex want to discuss? Was it about the presentation? Had something gone wrong? When the agreed time finally came, Sofia rushed out, nerves tingling in anticipation. She arrived at the quaint cafe down the street, her favorite spot. The comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sound of soft chatter. But today, none of that calmed her. Alex was already seated at a corner table, a serious expression replacing his usual easy smile. He looked up and gestured for her to join him, his eyes filled with something she couldn't quite place. Hey, thanks for coming, he said, his voice low, almost hesitant. Of course, Sofia replied, trying to match his somber tone with her own, though her heart raced in her chest. Taking a deep breath, he began, I just wanted to talk to you about the presentation. The panel members have given feedback. It's mostly positive, but there are some concerns. Hope and dread battled inside her. What kind of concerns? Alex hesitated, searching for the right words. They admire your vision, but they're worried about the funding stability. I mean, it's a pretty big project, and they want to know how you plan to dig deeper into the budget. They need to see a stronger proposal before they fully commit. Sofia's heart sank. But I explained everything. I thought they understood how passionate I am about this project. I know, he said gently. And your passion blew them away. But they need more details. They want to ensure it's feasible. He paused briefly, scanning her face for understanding. I don't think they're dismissing you, they just need extra assurance. Tears prickled at the corners of Sofia's eyes as the weight of his words settled on her shoulders. Standing in front of that panel, she had poured every piece of her heart into the presentation. But now, the reality stung. Her dream was still just a dream, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. "I can't believe this," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I thought I had it all planned out. How am I supposed to create a stronger proposal?" "We can figure it out together," Alex said, leaning forward, his hand reassuringly covering hers on the table. "You have the ideas, you just need to present them differently. I can help you refine everything. It's not over. You've come this far, don't give up now." Sofia looked into his eyes, searching for a glimmer of hope. "Do you really think we can make it? That I can come up with a proposal that will satisfy them?" "I believe in you," he insisted, his voice filled with conviction. "And you have your community behind you. Let us channel that energy. This is our chance to make it even better." Her heart fluttered at his support, a wave of determination rising within her. "Okay, let us do it. Let us make a proposal they can't refuse." As they brainstormed over coffee, the initial panic faded. Bright ideas flowed between them, igniting her passion anew. Yet, deep down, a quiet shadow loomed. How long could this momentum last? Would they have enough time to impress the panel? Just as they wrapped up their session, Sofia's phone buzzed again. It was a message from the community group she had partnered with. "Sofia, we heard about the presentation. We want to help. Can we meet to discuss fundraising ideas?" Sofia's heart raced. Excitement mingled with apprehension. This could be the support she needed, or could it turn into another challenge? "Alex, they want to meet. This could be huge." He raised an eyebrow, smiling slightly. "The universe is aligning. But remember, with every chance comes a risk." What new challenges awaited her in this evolving journey? She took a deep breath, uncertainty pooling in her stomach once more. She could feel change on the horizon, but at what cost? Would their efforts be enough? Sofia's hands trembled slightly as she typed her response to the community group. Excitement bubbled inside her, but just beneath the surface lay the fear of disappointing everyone again. She hit send and looked up at Alex, whose expression suggested he could see the inner conflict raging within her. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. "Yeah, I'm not used to relying on others. What if they think I'm incapable?" Alex shook his head, leaning back in his chair. "Sofia, wanting help doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart. It shows you're committed to making this project a success. You're building a community, remember?" She took a deep breath and nodded slowly. His words were grounding amidst the chaos of her thoughts. "Right. I can't do this alone." The cafe hustle around them faded as they stepped into a bubble of focus. They spoke in hushed tones, crafting ideas and weaving in details that could transform her original proposal. When Sofia finally left, a spring was in her step. She felt lighter, the weight of doubt lifted a little as the hunger to succeed ignited within her. The meeting with the community group was set for tomorrow evening, and she could hardly wait to see what ideas they would bring to the table. That night, as she lay in bed, anticipation turned into anxiety. What if the meeting didn't go as planned? What if they struggled to brainstorm? The what if started circling back in, fight or flight instincts flaring like little flames in her mind. Then, she remembered Alex's words. She wasn't alone. She had support. Maybe that was enough. Morning came way too quickly. She dressed meticulously, slipping on a blazer, a symbol of her determination. As she looked in the mirror, she whispered, "You can do this, Sofia." The community center buzzed with life as members started arriving for the meeting. Familiar faces greeted her, and she felt a rush of gratitude. This group meant so much to her, they had always been her backbone. "Hey, Sofia. Excited to help out?" One of the women from the group greeted her warmly, a bright smile spreading across her face. "Definitely. I hope we can come up with something that shines," Sofia replied, her heart lifting momentarily. When everyone settled in, she shared the feedback from the panel, her voice steady now, fueled by the support surrounding her. As ideas sparked around the room, laughter and encouragement filled the air. One solution after another emerged, and with each suggestion, Sofia felt herself healing. Her vision was coming to life, but it was also evolving a living, breathing project that invited collaboration and creativity. Then, a young man, who had been quietly listening, raised his hand hesitantly. "What if we reach out to local businesses for sponsorship? They might want to be part of something that helps the community." An excited murmur spread through the room. It was the kind of idea that could potentially provide the financial backing she needed to satisfy the panel's concerns. "That's brilliant!" Sofia exclaimed, her heart racing. They were building momentum, pushing the boundaries of what she thought possible. Hours later, as the meeting wrapped up, everyone stood to leave, and the energy in the room felt electric. Sofia's mind raced with possibilities, a newfound clarity shimmering on the horizon. "Hey, Sofia," Alex's text flashed on her phone as she walked home. "I can't wait to hear how it went. You've got this." She couldn't help but smile. The fear that had gripped her earlier began to dissipate. She realized she was capable of so much more than she ever thought, but just as she reached her apartment, a sudden knock on the door made her pulse quicken. Who could it be? Had something unexpected come up? With her heart pounding, she opened the door, ready for whatever awaited her. Would this be the moment that changed everything? Sofia swung open the door, her heart racing as she faced a figure standing on her doorstep. It was an older woman, her silver hair catching the light, eyes sparkling with a mix of excitement and urgency. "Can I help you?" Sofia asked, her voice barely above a whisper, still trying to process the unexpected visitor. "Are you Sofia, right?" the woman inquired, a hint of breathlessness in her tone. "Yes, that's me," Sofia replied, confusion knitting her brow. The woman beamed and held out a letter, sealed with a wax emblem. "I'm Mrs. Thompson, from the Heritage Fund. I've come to deliver something important." Sofia blinked, taking the letter from her. She could feel the weight of it, as if it held the answers to questions she hadn't even thought to ask. Curious and a bit hesitant, she tore open the seal. The letter inside was handwritten, the ink flowing beautifully across the page. As she read, her pulse quickened. The Heritage Fund had reviewed her proposal, her community project, and they were impressed. They wanted to back her initiative financially, even suggesting a partnership that would take her vision further than she ever imagined. "Wow," she breathed, looking up to meet Mrs. Thompson's eyes, now sparkling with pride. "This is fantastic. I can't believe it, dear. Your passion shines through, and the community sees it too. We want to invest in that." Joy surged in Sofia, but alongside it was a wave of anxiety. "But, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough to lead this?" Mrs. Thompson stepped closer, her gaze steady. "It's okay to feel uncertain. Every great leader felt that way at some point. What makes the difference is your willingness to try, to adapt, and to lean on your community. You have all of that. Trust in yourself." Sofia cast her eyes downward, letting her words wash over her. Could she truly trust in herself? The thought lingered, and she felt the battle within her, the familiar tug of doubt flaring up. "Thank you, really, but I need to think about this," Sofia finally managed to say, tucking the letter close to her chest as if it were a treasure. "Of course," Mrs. Thompson replied with a warm smile. "Just know that the door is open, and you've got a whole team cheering you on." As the door closed, Sofia leaned against it, the letter still clasped tightly in her hands. This opportunity could transform everything, yet fear knotted in her stomach. She glanced at her phone again, half expecting a text from Alex filled with encouragement. Instead, it was a message from the community group, buzzing with enthusiasm about more ideas they could explore together. Her heart fluttered as she caught a glimpse of what could be a project that truly amplified voices, that brought together the community she cherished. But a shadow loomed in her mind, submission lurking behind the incertitude. Sofia finally sat down at her kitchen table, spreading the letter before her. She was on the brink of something monumental. Could she rise to the occasion and seize this moment? Before her thoughts could spiral, she picked up her phone and texted Alex, "I have big news. Can we meet?" As she awaited his response, a mix of excitement and dread swirled in her belly. The journey ahead felt daunting, but she knew one thing for certain: it was time for action. She wasn't just a girl with an idea anymore, she was a leader with a future. But just as she began to formulate her next steps, her phone rang, the unknown number flashing across the screen. Should she answer? A myriad of possibilities raced through her mind. What if it was another opportunity? Or maybe, a setback? With a steadying breath, she pressed answer, ready to confront whatever lay on the other end. Would this be another defining moment, or could it potentially unravel all she had begun to build? "Sofia?" A deep voice resonated through the phone, sending a jolt through her. "Yes, this is Sofia," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Hi there, this is Greg from the Heritage Fund. I just wanted to follow up on Mrs. Thompson's visit. First off, congratulations. We're all quite excited about your proposal." For a split second, Sofia felt as if she were floating. The weight of uncertainty lifted, replaced by a hopeful thrill. "Thank you. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. However," Greg continued, the warmth in his voice dimming slightly, "we have a few details we need to discuss. There are some concerns regarding the timeline and budget you submitted." Sofia's heart began to race again. "Concerns? What kind of concerns?" "More about how you envision executing your timeline. We feel that with the right adjustments, this could be an extraordinary project, but it needs to be more robust." Panic gripped her. "I can make adjustments. I just didn't want to overwhelm anyone right at the start." "Of course. Take the time you need. But I believe you'll need the community on board as well. Can we set up a meeting soon to go over these points? We want to see this succeed, really." "Sure, yes. I can organize." Sofia's thoughts were racing. Could she turn this around? Was her vision solid enough? The enormity of it all pressed down on her, each breath becoming a reminder of the stakes. "Let's aim for early next week. How does that sound?" Greg interjected, pulling her back to the conversation. "Absolutely. I'll send an email with the proposed times," she replied, forcing an upbeat tone that she didn't quite feel. "Looking forward to it, Sofia. I have a feeling you're about to take this project to new heights." The line went quiet, and with that, the connection was gone. Sofia dropped her phone on the table, staring at the letter still lying next to her. The excitement she felt just moments ago was now tangled with doubt. Could she really do this? Did she have what it takes to lead this initiative into its full potential? Just then, her phone buzzed again, snapping her from her spiraling thoughts. It was Alex. "Can't wait to hear your news. Let's meet at the cafe at 5. A mixture of relief and urgency washed over her. She needed to share everything: the news, the doubts, the possibilities. "See you at 5. She typed back, feeling a flutter of what could only be anticipation. As she prepared to leave, that lingering shadow of anxiety crept back in. She took a deep breath, trying to focus. As she walked to the cafe, the very air around her felt charged with possibilities. What if she did this? What if she succeeded? The thought brought a warmth to her chest, momentarily pushing aside the doubts. Alex was already seated, a smile spreading across his face as she approached. "Hey, you look like you're on top of the world," he joked, standing to hug her. After a few minutes of small talk and laughter, she dove into the heart of her news: the letter, the meeting with Greg, and the rising doubts. Alex listened intently, nodding along, occasionally asking questions, each nod igniting her confidence a little more, but just as she detailed her thoughts on making adjustments to the proposal, a shadow crossed Alex's face. "Sofia, I really believe in this project. But there's a critical question you need to ask yourself: what's your real motivation?" The air grew still, and a deep silence hung between them. In that moment, Sofia realized that the path ahead might not just be about leading a project. It could reveal deeper truths about herself, the reasons why she wanted to amplify her community's voice. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow through the cafe windows, she felt a shift within her. The questions danced in her mind. What was at the heart of her desire to lead? "Alex," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "I think I need to dig deeper into what I really want from all this." But just then, her phone buzzed again, an emergency message from the community group. The content flashed on the screen, and a knot of dread formed in her stomach. What could it possibly mean? Would it derail everything she just started to believe in? Sofia's heart raced as she opened the message from the community group. It read, "Urgent, we need to meet. There's a crisis with the funding we promised." Panic washed over her. All the progress felt on the brink of collapsing. "Sofia," Alex said, leaning in closer, sensing her distress. "What's the matter?" As she shared the news, fear twisted in her stomach. What if we lose our chance? What if they don't believe in us anymore? Alex placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. "Let us go to the meeting together. You're not alone in this. We'll face it as a team." Gratitude swelled in Sofia's chest. She nodded, determination replacing fear. The room was smaller than the last meeting, a quaint gathering spot where families met to share stories over steaming cups of coffee. But the tension in the air was electric as familiar faces surrounded her, concern etched on their features. "Thank you for coming, everyone," Sofia began, her voice steady, filled with purpose. "We've hit a bump, but together, I believe we can overcome this." As she spoke, she could see the resolve in their eyes. They had shared the struggles of this community and knew that their next steps mattered. One by one, they voiced their commitment, ideas igniting conversations that made the air hum with hope. "Sofia, we can organize a fundraiser," one woman suggested eagerly. "It can be a community festival. Everyone pitches in, showcasing our culture, our talents." Another voice chimed in, "And we can reach out to local businesses. They might want to support something that strengthens the neighborhood." Excitement coiled through Sofia. Ideas flowed like a river, their energy filling the room. Before she knew it, plans were underway. They would launch a festival, and not only would they raise funds, but they would also celebrate the very essence of their community: diverse languages, food, and stories. As the meeting wrapped up, Sofia felt a wave of exhilaration wash over her. "We can do this," she declared. "Let us unite and show everyone that our community is worth believing in." The cheering and clapping filled the cozy space, her heart swelling with warmth as hope flourished around her. Days turned into a whirlwind of preparation. Banners were hung with vibrant colors, family recipes were shared, and musicians began to rehearse for the festival. Each moment felt electric, and Sofia worked tirelessly, her heart and soul poured into the event. Finally, the day arrived. The sun spilled golden light across the park, where laughter and music blended in harmony. Families gathered, children ran freely, and the spirit of community was palpable in the air. Sofia stood on the makeshift stage, gazing at the crowd. Tears glimmered in her eyes, a mix of joy and triumph. "Welcome, everyone. Today, we celebrate not just our differences, but our shared dreams." The applause that followed made her heart race. In the crowd, Sofia looked for her mother, who beamed with pride. And there was Alex, giving her a thumbs up, his support grounding her in the moment. Taking a breath, she continued, sharing heartfelt stories of the struggles they faced together. "This is just the beginning," she proclaimed passionately. "Together, we can build a future that honors everyone. A future that understands the importance of love, unity, and respect." The festival wrapped with songs, food shared, and laughter echoing into the night. As dusk settled, Sofia felt something shift within her, a realization. She hadn't just amplified voices, she built a bridge that connected hearts. The next day, Sofia received a call from Greg at the Heritage Fund. Sofia, the festival was a huge success. We're thrilled by the spirit it brought. We'd like to officially invest in the community center, supporting you fully. Sofia's heart soared. Thank you. We'll keep the momentum going. She exclaimed. The journey hadn't been easy, but each challenge had shaped her, molding her into the leader her community needed. The future glimmered with possibility, and as she looked around at her vibrantly alive city, she felt a connection to each person. Grounded in the belief that dreams could manifest into reality when driven by passion and unity, together, they would continue the voices of the community loud and unstoppable. As the final scene mingled under puddles of moonlight, Sofia's heart danced with the echo of laughter. Now is the time for you, too. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss these exclusive stories that inspire change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support makes all the difference. Comment below with your feelings about this powerful ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Real change starts with taking action.